Let's start here. You cannot save everyone, so release yourself from the superhero complex. In the world of comics and blockbusters, we're often introduced to characters of extraordinary prowess, superheroes who swoop in to save the day, no matter the odds. These figures, though inspiring, can also create an unrealistic and harmful expectation. The notion that one must always be the savior, always be the one to shoulder the weight of the world, is not only daunting but also impossible. Imagine, for example, a superhero, cape flowing, eyes aglow with resolve. They fly from crisis to crisis, a beacon of hope in the face of despair. But let's not forget, even superheroes are not invincible. They get tired, they get hurt, and yes, their capes get torn. And while they may appear to brush it off, continue their flight undeterred, it's important to realize that even superheroes need time to fix their capes and to heal. This superhero complex, this pressure to always be the one to save the day, it's a heavy burden to bear. It's an expectation that's not just unrealistic, but also unhealthy. After all, we are human, not superhuman. We have our strengths, but we also have our weaknesses. We have our victories, but we also have our defeats. And that is absolutely okay. In real life, heroes aren't just those with superpowers or capes. They're people like you and me. Mom, dad, uncle, brother, sister, friend, stranger, coworker, manager, or it could even be a therapist. People who are willing to sacrifice themselves or their time to save another. These are the real heroes. The ones who show us that it's okay to be human. The ones who show us that it is okay to not be okay. That it's okay to need help, and most importantly, that it's okay to take the time to mend our torn capes. Because remember, you cannot save everyone, but there is one person you can save consistently, and that person is you. So it's time to start releasing yourself from that superhero complex. Imagine a cape, torn and frayed from constant use. It's a symbol of our efforts to help others while neglecting our own needs, but it is also a symbol of your heart posture. This cape, much like us, bears the brunt of our superhero complex. We wear it proudly, rushing to save the day, forgetting that even the most resilient fabric can wear thin over time. Just as a cape shields a hero from the perils of their quests, so do we use our strengths to shield others from life's challenges. But what happens when our own cape is torn? It's a stark reminder that we are not invincible. We too, like our capes, need time to amend and heal. In the flurry of life, we often forget that it's okay to say no. We're so caught up in being everyone's hero that we neglect our own needs. But saying no isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength, a declaration that we value our own well-being just as much as we value the well-being of others. And it's not just about saying no. It's about understanding that it's okay to receive care too. Here's what I learned. Even highly motivated people are not exempt from a little encouragement or self-care every now and again. Just as we extend our hand to help others, we should be willing to accept a helping hand when we need it. After all, even the strongest of capes can use a stitch or two. The torn cape analogy isn't just about self-care. It's about understanding that in order to help others, we first need to help ourselves. The Bible talks about how we must love our neighbor as we love ourselves. However, that brings up the question, do you love yourself? If so, how are you showing yourself that? Are you giving yourself the necessary attention to keep going? Otherwise, if you are not showing or can't show love to yourself, then it will be very difficult for you to continue giving to or helping others. It's about recognizing that it's okay to put ourselves first sometimes, to mend our torn capes before we take on the world. It's about understanding that superheroes aren't defined by the number of people they save, but by the strength it takes to acknowledge their own vulnerabilities. It's about realizing that taking care of ourselves doesn't make us less of a hero. On the contrary, it makes us a better one. So the next time you feel your cape tearing at the seams from the weight of the world, remember this: it's okay to take a break. It's okay to mend your torn cape, because sometimes you need to take time for yourself to fix or mend the flaws in your cape. Strength is overrated. It's okay to be weak sometimes. Let's talk about the societal pressures that insist we always appear strong. It's like wearing a mask, a heavy mask that gets heavier with each passing day. This mask of strength, it's not just a cover, it's a shield that we often hide behind, fearing the judgment of the world. But here's the thing, my friends, this shield, this mask, it takes a mental toll, a toll that's too often ignored. It's like a weight we carry around, a weight that gets heavier with every expectation, every responsibility, every pressure to conform to the societal standards of strength. What we don't realize is that this weight, this burden of always appearing strong, it's not just heavy, it's exhausting, it's draining. It's like running a marathon with no finish line in sight. And the worst part? We're so busy running this never-ending race that we forget to acknowledge and address our weaknesses, our vulnerabilities, our humanness. But acknowledging one's weaknesses and vulnerabilities isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It's a sign of courage. It's a sign of authenticity. Because let's face it, we are not superheroes. We are not invincible. We're not immune to pain, to suffering, to failure. We are humans, we're fallible, we're vulnerable, and guess what? That is okay. In fact, it's more than okay, it's normal. So let's stop pretending to have superpowers. Let's stop pretending that we're always strong or that we are in any way invincible. Let's stop pretending that we're immune to being affected or that we don't suffer or the possibility of failure. Because the truth is, we can be touched both physically and emotionally. We're humans, we make mistakes, we feel, we do get weak, and that's okay. In fact, it's more than okay. It's normal. And the sooner we accept this, the sooner we acknowledge our weaknesses and vulnerabilities, the sooner we can start healing, start growing, start becoming the best versions of ourselves. Superman is not even really super. He is an idea that exudes invulnerability but is really just fiction. So do not compare your nonfiction to the fiction you see on TV. You cannot fill another person's cup if yours is empty. How many times have we heard this? Yet we often find ourselves drained, running on fumes, trying to be the hero for everyone else. We wear our capes proudly, soaring through the sky, but forget that even superheroes need to recharge. Let's talk about self-care. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's not selfish, it's self-preservation. Self-care isn't about escaping from our responsibilities. It's about ensuring we're in the best possible shape to handle them. It's about filling our own cups so that we can continue to pour into others. Imagine your energy as a well. You dip your bucket in day after day to help others. But if you never take the time to refill that well, eventually you'll find your bucket scraping the bottom, pulling up nothing but dust. That's when you realize you've been pouring from an empty cup. So what's the solution? It's simple. Take a break. I can almost hear the collective gasp. A break? But there's so much to do. Yes, there is, but remember, even the mightiest heroes have their limits. And you, my friend, are no different. Taking a break doesn't mean abandoning your duties. It means stepping back for a moment, taking a deep breath and recharging. It's about resetting, about refilling your cup, about mending your torn cape. It's about finding the strength to fly again. Remember, a well-rested hero is a more effective hero. A hero who takes care of themselves is better equipped to care for others. A hero who fills their own cup first is able to fill the cups of those they care about. So the next time you feel your cape starting to tear, remember to pause. Go see the metaphoric cape tailor, reset, then return when you're ready, because you cannot effectively fly with damage to your cape. Remember, capes get torn, but they also can be mended, so be sure to fix yours first. Celebrate your wins and give yourself grace for the losses. This is not just a saying, but a mantra for life. The cape we wear, the one we used to fly, to save, to protect, it can become heavy with the weight of the world. And sometimes we need to take it off, stitch it, and give ourselves a moment to breathe, to celebrate, and to heal. In the whirlwind of being the hero, it's easy to forget to celebrate our victories. Every time you've saved the day, every time you've overcome an obstacle, every time you've made a difference, it's a win. It's a patch on your cape, a testament to your strength. But more than that, it's an opportunity to celebrate yourself. It's a chance to say, I did it, I am capable, I am strong. It's a moment to let the joyful, triumphant music play, to let the spotlight shine on you, to let yourself feel the warmth of achievement. But what about the losses? The times when, despite your best efforts, things didn't go as planned? Those are the moments when you need to give yourself grace. Because even superheroes falter, even superheroes face defeats. It's not the absence of failure that makes a hero, but the courage to continue despite it. The grace to say, I did my best and that's enough. The strength to stand up again, dust off the setback, and keep going. We often forget that the most heroic act is not always saving someone else, but saving ourselves. You are not just a hero to others, but also to yourself. So don't let your cape remain torn just so you can finish. Don't let your victories go uncelebrated. Don't let your failures weigh you down. Celebrate your wins, big or small. Give yourself grace for the losses, because at the end of the day, you are not just a hero, you are a human. And being human means experiencing the highs and the lows, the victories and the defeats, the joy and the pain. So celebrate and give yourself grace. Take time for self-care and mend your torn capes. It's not just about saving others, but most importantly, it is about saving yourself.